Emily is a 10-year-old girl who loves to draw but lacks confidence. Her drawings are often mocked by her classmates, and only her art teacher, Mrs. Blank, offers her encouragement. Raindrops tapped against the classroom window like countless tiny, transparent fingers gently knocking on the glass. 10-year-old Emily Carter sat by the window, absent-mindedly sketching in her notebook. Her brown curls framed her face, partially hiding her furrowed brow. "Emily, would you like to show the class your drawing?" Mrs. Blank's gentle voice pulled her from her thoughts. Emily's stomach tightened. Slowly, she stood up and hesitantly held up her sketchbook. On the page was a cat she had spent all afternoon drawing, but one ear was larger than the other, and the proportions were slightly off. A few snickers broke out across the room. "That looks like a cat that got run over by a truck." Tommy, sitting in the back, called out, sparking more laughter. Emily's cheeks burned. She quickly shut her sketchbook and sat back down, staring at her desk. Mrs. Blank shot Tommy a stern glance before addressing the class. "Art isn't about perfection, it's about expression." Emily's drawing shows her unique perspective. When the final bell rang, Emily hurriedly packed her bag, eager to escape. Mrs. Blank stopped her at the door. "Emily, your work has real potential," the teacher said, handing her a fresh sketchbook and a set of colored pencils. "Keep practicing. Don't let anyone discourage you." Emily forced a smile and tucked the gifts into her backpack. Outside, the rain had intensified. She pulled her raincoat hood tighter and quickened her pace, head down until she noticed a narrow alley she'd never paid attention to before. At the end stood a small shop with a sign that read "Curiosities," its window filled with strange objects, a yellowed globe, a jewel-encrusted pocket watch, an intricately carved wooden box. For some reason, Emily felt drawn inside. A bell chimed softly as she pushed open the door. The shop smelled of aged paper and polished wood. Behind the counter sat a silver-haired man with round glasses, absorbed in a thick book. "Can I help you, young lady?" He looked up, his eyes glinting oddly behind his spectacles. "I'm just looking," Emily murmured, her gaze drifting over the shelves of oddities. Then she spotted an open sandalwood box. Inside lay an ancient-looking paintbrush with a dark wooden handle, and a small sapphire embedded at its tip. The old man noticed her interest. You have an eye for discovery," he said, standing slowly and lifting the brush. "This is no ordinary paintbrush. It only works for those with true imagination." Emily reached for it curiously. The brush was surprisingly warm, almost as if it pulsed faintly in her palm. "How much is it?" she asked, though she knew her allowance would never cover it. The man smiled mysteriously. "For the right owner, it costs nothing. But remember, every stroke of creation comes with responsibility." He handed her the brush. "My name is Marcus. If you ever have questions, you may return." Bewildered, Emily thanked him and carefully tucked the brush into her backpack. When she looked up again, the shop and the old man were gone. She stood alone in the empty alley, rain dripping down her face. At home, Emily locked herself in her room. She pulled out the brush and the sketchbook Mrs. Blank had given her. The brush's tip looked worn, but the moment it touched paper, it sharpened miraculously. Taking a deep breath, Emily began to draw a butterfly. To her astonishment, the brush seemed to guide her hand. The lines flowed effortlessly, the wings' patterns intricate and delicate. As she finished the last stroke, something unbelievable happened. The butterfly flapped its wings and flew off the page. Emily gasped. The butterfly, now completely real, hovered in the air, its wings shimmering like sapphires. It landed lightly on her nose before fluttering out the half-open window. "This can't be real," she whispered, but the butterfly was undeniably gone from her sketchbook. Hands trembling, she picked up the brush again and drew a rose. As she completed the final petal, a crimson rose bloomed from the paper, its sweet fragrance filling the air. The next day at school, Emily hid the brush in her pencil case. During recess, her friend Lisa approached, looking upset. "My backpack strap broke," Lisa said, pointing to the torn strap. "Mom says we can't afford a new one this month." Emily hesitated, then took out the brush. "Let me try something." She sketched a brand new backpack, identical to Lisa's, but with an intact strap. The moment she finished, the drawing became real, landing on her lap. "Is this magic?" Lisa gaped. "Sort of," Emily said with a secretive smile, handing her the backpack. "Don't tell anyone, okay?" But word spread. That afternoon, Jack, the tallest boy in class, cornered her. "I heard you can make things appear," he said. "Can you make me taller? Basketball tryouts are next week." Emily wanted to refuse, but Jack's hopeful look softened her. "I'll try, but no promises." She sketched a slightly taller version of Jack. But something went wrong. The moment she finished, Jack began to grow, and didn't stop. His head nearly hit the ceiling, as he stared in horror at his stretching limbs. "Stop! Make it stop!" he shrieked. Panicking, Emily tried to scribble over the drawing, but the brush wouldn't obey. Mrs. Blank rushed in and nearly fainted at the sight. "Emily Carter, what is this?" the teacher demanded. Thinking fast, Emily sketched the original Jack and furiously erased the taller version. Slowly, he shrank back to normal. The classroom fell silent. After school, Emily raced back to the alley, but the shop was gone. Only a brick wall remained. That night, she locked the brush in her deepest drawer, vowing not to use it again until she understood its power. But in the darkness, a faint blue glow pulsed from the drawer, as if the brush was calling to her.